Back to another episode of the RAG Report, our daily bulletin designed to help recruitment owners navigate through this really uncertain time relating to COVID-19. Every day I'm going to be interviewing recruitment owners, leaders, suppliers who have been through tough times before, who are prepared to share their insight as to how they're approaching what's going on right now. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by James Osborne, the chairman and founder of the Recruitment Network, a guy who works across the industry globally, advising recruitment businesses both one-to-one and one-to-many on how to grow. And just by judging how hard it's been to get the guy on the phone in the last 48 hours, I think he's a very, very busy man. So James, thank you so much for taking the time out today.
Thanks, Sean. Great to have you here.
So let's get straight into it, buddy. What's going on for you? How are you coping over the last couple of days?
Yeah, well, I mean, from a personal point of view, we're fine. We had a big meeting in our business at the end of last week and the beginning of this week, just to talk about what we're doing and our strategy as a business. We know what we need to do as a network and as a community and as an advisory business to organizations. And I think it's our job now to demonstrate our values and our true purpose as a business, which is about trying to make a difference and be a positive difference, put purpose over profit and help all these people that need help right now. So it's been a very fascinating time. It's been non-stop. We haven't sort of slept for a while, which is fine. And we won't probably a lot to come. So there's a lot going on, and I think this is a time that we've been saying this to everybody. This is the time when business leaders, recruitment leaders, just need to really get their heads straight and demonstrate true leadership skills. Really think about what they're doing in their businesses, how they're going to run their business, how they're going to navigate through the current situation, and then most importantly, how they're going to bounce back out of it afterwards, because there will be a bounce back. So we've been working lots of scenarios happening. Not everyone's been hit by it as heavily yet, so some people have. It's definitely not business as usual. I think you need to be a little bit careful about where you're getting advice and guidance from at the moment. There's a lot of it out there. It's definitely not business as usual, so we've got to be very careful about ensuring that we're just gearing ourselves up and setting ourselves up for the worst case scenario that I think will be coming or is coming for most people. And then how we manage through that so we come out the other side fit and healthier and stronger and smarter and all that sort of good stuff.
So take us through the conversation you've been having with your clients, right? So 81% of the industry, we both know, are sort of small, sub 10 staff, boutique, independent recruitment firms that are looking to grow. Otherwise, they wouldn't be investing in services like Hoxo or the TRN, right? What is the situation that a lot of the industry are finding themselves in right now?
Yeah, I think the main situation that we're finding in is that people just don't know what's going on. So therefore, there is a lot of rash decision making going on, a lot of panic, obviously, and therefore a lot of people just don't quite know which way to turn right now. The SME side of the world, the SME market, especially the recruitment sector, is good in one way because they're agile. They can turn easily. They can change things. They can pivot. They don't generally have huge overheads, which is good. So it's a lot easier for them to sort of cut back a little bit. It's all very much dependent on a couple of things really. Is number one, how much of their market is currently being hit, and number two, how good have they been in the past at managing a good, sensible, structured business with a reasonable level of cash flow reserves and that type of stuff. Because for a lot of people, now is the time when they're digging into their reserves and their cash flow to support their business over the next few months. So I think there's a lot of unknown. I mean, everybody doesn't know. Nobody knows what's going on. Everyone's got an opinion, but nobody knows what's going on. But what we do know, and I say this quite a lot, is this is the time when recruitment leaders need to respond to the situation and not react. And I think this what we're seeing now. We're seeing people now calming themselves down a little bit, taking a bit of a step back, a big deep breath, and saying, actually, let's start working at a clever, structured way of navigating through this. So I think that there's been a bit of panic and a bit of unknown. I think now people are sort of getting a bit of time out. A lot of people are working from home now. I think that's fine. I think a lot of people are doing that anyway. I think that's a particularly big deal.
I think the working from home thing has been a lot bigger than I expected. You're right. I think my assumption 2 weeks ago was, loads of the industry is doing that now. But actually, that's probably the one thing I've seen the most comms about on LinkedIn, the most people giving away advice about. There's probably about 1 billion working from home experts in the last 3 months that have popped out of nowhere. But actually as well, like that, every time I've spoke to a client, that has been the one thing they've talked about. So actually, I think it is a bigger thing than me and you probably think, because we've lived a bit more of a digital existence for a couple of years.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, most of the suppliers to the industry these days, which is where most people build their infrastructures and their ecosystems, are cloud-based systems. Which is what we're used to. So, I think as long as you can get over the fact that you've got to have a bit of trust in people and that type of stuff. Some people are saying, people are just taking it because it's a lazy excuse for a day off. I mean, I'm not quite sure that's the sort of mentality of most people right now. I think there's a lot more other stuff going on. So I think people can work from home. I think it's just a new habit that people need to get used to. I think it's going to be really good for the industry moving forward anyway, from that perspective, if any good is going to come out of all this. So yeah, I think it's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I think people are getting used to it. It's fascinating though, in the amount of people's bedrooms and kitchens I've been exposed to over the last 48 hours now. Everyone's zooming in from all sorts of different weird and wonderful places. They're trying to create these home office environments, which is quite fun. But again, they'll work it out. We'll always work that type of stuff out. That's fine.
What sectors have you seen are not affected yet, based on your client base?
I don't think any sector hasn't been affected. I think, you'd be crazy to say there has. Some sectors are being affected more than others. So obviously there is fear and trepidation around the education sector, for example, because obviously if schools close, then that obviously has its impact. Healthcare in some instances is actually doing quite well. Those organisations who are supplying drivers are doing quite well at the moment, this sort of stuff. I mean, it's a classic process that you go through when there's a downturn, that some divisions do really well, some don't do so well. The only unprecedented thing about this is because it's a global thing, it's really impacting everybody in all sorts of different ways. It's not just like we're having a recession. We're having a recession, plus everyone's got to stay at home and no one can talk to each other face to face. So everything is just changing quite a bit. So I think it's affecting every industry in some instance, some lesser degrees, obviously. Hiring is definitely slowed down in a lot of places. There's still a lot of hiring action happening. And what I've been really pleased about is, number one, how customers have been receptive to doing full recruitment cycles online, using video interviewing and all that type of stuff, and Zoom, etc. And also how recruitment businesses have adapted pretty quick to just getting on that train, which is good. So that's good. We're keeping things moving forward, but not everybody. And a lot of people are actually suffering and having to make some quite fundamental sweeping changes right now.
Yeah, I think the bit that you said around, business as usual, it's bullshit. And I think I agree, because the likelihood is, if you're a smart business leader outside of our sector, any sector, you probably will if you've got the opportunity to interview candidates on video, you're going to do it. But are you going to press the button on invoices going out and actually committing to headcount in this current market? You're going to have a very, very clear growth plan and cash. You might an investment-backed business or whatever to do that. So people have to be prepared that they're going to be busy potentially. Activity will be high, but it's the fees generated and fees being paid, which are the two things that are going to be the hardest to secure.
Well, completely. I mean, there's no doubt there are people still hiring, and there is invoices being raised, but that's a lesser amount than it was a couple of weeks ago. And in any marketplace, there's a lot of people fighting for business right now, so it's going to get more competitive, and it just changes dynamics. That's not business as usual. It's a different environment we're working in now, and it's a challenging environment that people need to understand the best way of getting through it. The way I'm looking at it, and I'm not an expert in tropical medicine or science, that type of stuff. Obviously, we've all spent a lot of time analysing this. We've all got some ideas and thoughts, but the way I'm generally looking at it, we're basing everything on a 6-month play. The next 3 months, I think, are just going to get tough and a little bit tougher in a lot of instances. I personally think that toughness is going to peak by I'm predicting by the end of May. And then come out the other side of that, we'll see a bounce. And then the sort of June, July, August time leading into the summer, when hopefully warm weather will have a positive impact, et cetera, we'll then come back out of this into a bit of a softer market. So there will be more business happening. There'll be more of a euphoric feeling around the world, I imagine, if we start seeing people coming out and some control has happened over coronavirus. But and there'll be a little bit more positivity in the marketplace. It'll still be a softer market, it has to be. And it will take a while for the global economy to recover fully from this, if at all. But I see it as a 6-month gameplay. So what we're saying to most recruitment businesses, those who are suffering and wondering what to do and that type of stuff, is now is the time to just lock and consolidate in your business what you've got for the next 3 months, batten down the hatches, get rid of any unnecessary costs in your business that you just don't need. Manage everything. Try and avoid getting rid of people if you don't have to, because the people are the lifeblood of your business and they're the ones who will help you get through this. But the focus is just basically batten down the hatches and support the business through the next 3 months. If you can make profit and margin in the next 3 months, fantastic, good on you. If you have to break even, that's not a bad thing. If you are losing money, that's fine, as long as you can sustain it with the cash that you've got in your business and so on and so forth. So, and that's the play. It's reality. Just get on with it. Work hard. Put some structure in place. Number one. And then number two, whilst you're doing that, look at maximizing every possible opportunity you've got now to do business with your customers over the next 2 to 3 months. You know, there's no doubts about it. People have got more time to talk. You've got more time to get in front of people on Zoom and Skype and all that sort of good stuff, so you have proper conversations with customers. Business is pausing, it's not stopping, so it's a great time to start setting up contractual relationships with customers, doing deals today, albeit you might not get paid or they get closed until tomorrow. That's fine. It's a good chance to spend more time with candidates, building up good candidate pools. You know, even, you know, we talked to a client this morning, they're just going to spend the next week just cleaning their database. You know, this is spring clean. Okay, fine. It's not the ideal scenario and they'd much rather be closing deals. But if there aren't deals to be closed right now, in some instances, then be positive and maximize the time that you've got doing some other positive stuff. And I think if you do that, when the bounce comes, which I think will be in a couple of months, 2.5 months or so, it may be longer, I don't know, I'm not an expert, but when it does come, you will be ready to capitalize on that. And that gives you a chance then to claw back what you may have lost or reduced over the last 3 months. So, you know, it's a long-term play, and that's where you just got to look at it from that point of view. If you panic now and cut heads and cut everything, I think you're in a risky place for what happens afterwards.
What can we learn from 2008 specifically?
I think exactly what I just said, to be honest with you. I mean, I think, you know, 2008 showed that smart businesses are the ones who need to be resilient for when the downturn goes away again, that type of stuff. You know, if you come out of a situation like this and your business is being shredded, and you've cut all your headcount out and you've cut out all your marketing costs and all that type of stuff that normally you would utilize to help build and grow and evolve your business, your return back to normality is going to take a hell of a lot longer. Yeah. And that, in some instances, that's where people falter the most. So I think, you know, what can we learn? There's, I mean, 1,000 lessons that you can learn. A lot of people are learning what markets are buoyant in these situations to go after those. I don't know, but you know, I think more than anything, what you can learn is just be prudent, be frugal, be sensible, be pragmatic, and create a sustainable process to push through. You know, I think that this is really interesting for us. You know, we're looking at this as a chance to, you know, I had this conversation with my children, is I want my children to look at this moment and see what daddy did, and actually did daddy do the right thing from a business point of view and from a people point of view. And it sounds a bit soft and grandiose, and it may come out to bite me in the backside one day, I don't know. But, you know, I think this is a chance for us as individuals, us as a human race, us as an industry, to actually come together and do the right thing. And the right thing is, you know, we help each other out. If you're a small business, we support other small businesses. I mean, the TRM WhatsApp group, I've never seen it so alive, obviously, at the moment. But it's not alive with people just saying, help, help, help. It's people saying, let me help you. And it's brilliant. And then that's where, I mean, that's the reason why, you know, what we've done is we've said to all of our members, you know, you have the opportunity, the membership is now free over this period, because it's not the time for us to be trying to bleed members dry of costs and give them unnecessary headaches to think about. We're telling them to cut their costs and that we're here for them to support them. So whatever we can do to help our members, we will do. And I think this is a chance for us as recruiters to be helping our clients, helping our candidates, helping our staff, working together. And I know one thing for a fact is that the resilience of the human nature, the resilience of the recruitment industry in particular, we spend our lives bouncing back from stuff every single day. We are resilient as a bunch. And this is our chance to demonstrate that truly, and we will bounce back from this stronger, like we always do. And I think it's just up to us now to have a proper structure and strategy in place. And, you know, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm in the process of releasing, which will be ready tomorrow, a big guide over the next couple of days, basically a guide of what recruitment companies can do over this period to manage cash flow, support, grow business, manage their people, how to navigate through these times. And I hope people will look at some of that stuff. They'll have opinions, and I'm sure I'll get knocked for it. And saying some people will say I've done the wrong thing or whatever, as they tend to do. But from my point of view, this is just our chance now to work collaboratively and support each other. And I think there's a lot of goodwill out there in this industry, and if we can start helping each other out, that's great.
Yeah, 100%. What's TRN headquarters going on? How have you personally managed your team? I know I've been down to your space. It feels like you're away from the whole world anyway. No one could get you down there. But how are your team personally coping?
Well, my team took it as the immediate opportunity to quarantine me away from the office, it seems. So they kicked me straight out. So I'm now working from home, which is fine. Team are all working from home as of tomorrow. But we've always been able to do that, so it's no big deal for us. So that's absolutely fine. And we'll use the office as and when we need to. Our business has gone virtual for the next couple of months, so obviously we're not having any public meetups, which I think is the right thing to do. Just no point risking health and safety.
You have a huddle scheduled in April?
Yeah, we have huddle scheduled in April. We've got rumbles all scheduled. We're just creating a virtual version of the business. So we've always done virtual stuff anyway, with the power plays and the pulse sessions that we launched recently, which are going down really, really well, which is great. We're going to do a huddle, definitely 100%, but it will be a virtual huddle. It'll be brilliant. It'll be great fun. It'll be as powerful as ever and impactful as ever. But it's like I use this analogy a lot. I'm a sailor, so I do. It's about when the winds change, you just change your sails to navigate to still the same place you're trying to get to. You just got to adjust as you go. And that's what we're doing as a business. We're basically saying, I have no control over coronavirus. I have no control over how people in the world are reacting about it. I have a control over how I'm going to respond to it and how my team are going to respond to it. And I have to say, I got my team together yesterday, and we had a big sort of discussion, debate about what we all felt about it. And I've never seen such a feeling of teamwork, camaraderie, hunger to make a difference, do this right. It was lovely. And whatever happens in the future, when you have moments like that, you've done something right. And I think that's pretty cool. So I've got an amazing team. I know my team are going to be great. We're not cutting head or any of that type of stuff. If anything, we're going to add to it, because we've got a hell of a lot of members that we need support right now. We've made TRM World free to everyone around the world, so for the next couple of months, so unlimited access as much as they want. We're expecting to have no invoices raised for the next couple of months. We're fine with that. It's all about doing the right thing, and I think consequently we've got a hell of a lot of work to do now, just to help as many recruitment leaders navigate through this as they possibly can, keep their staff motivated and engaged, the ones that they are keeping, help them if they do have to get rid of head. What's the best way of doing that? The right way of doing it, the most ethical way of doing it. What's the best way of winning business now when we're stuck behind screens and that type of stuff, and we can't go and visit people, but we can still use a telephone and we can still use Zoom? How do we fill up our talent pipelines right now? How do we build new products to take to market that are going to be fit for purpose for the bounce? There's so many things that we could be doing positively now. And I do think, a big part of all of this is, as recruitment leaders and as people, we've got a bit of a duty of care around mental well-being for all of us. I think a lot of people are really stressing out by this, and it's weird. It's a weird time. And I know the more focused and positive you are about moving forwards, the more the negative stuff just falls by the wayside. I'm almost at that point now. I'm stopping watching news articles and reading every time my phone dings and there's a new news thing. I'm now ignoring it for the moment, because it can kill you, can eat you up inside, and you become so distracted, then you can't make proper decisions. And right now, going back to how we started this, a recruitment leader, a business leader of any description needs to be able to make the right decisions right now, because our staff and our clients and our candidates are expecting us to do that.
100%. What do you think about the government's approach so far? Like, again, I know you're not a politician. I mean, sometimes you come across like a politician, James.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
I mean, you could have been an MP, but you missed your call.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest thing I worry about, if I'm brutally honest with you, is the outgoings we've all got. So incomings from a business perspective, and outgoings on a business perspective, but personally, they're not going anywhere at this moment. So we've still got mortgages to pay. We've still got all of our cars to pay. We've still got phone contracts, direct debits. Do you see that stopping? Do you see the becoming a pause on things? Because it can't go, the chain has to stop at all ends. It can't just be at one end. Yeah,
no, definitely. I always say this, and some people say I sit on the fence sometimes. I don't really care. I think I've had enough over the last couple of years in particular, of people spending their lives knocking the government, knocking the opposition, knocking everybody. It's just, there's always someone got an opinion about someone, there's always negative. I don't really give a damn, to honestly. So I just focus on what I can control, what I can influence, what I can do. And that's the most important thing to me. The governments will do their things and in their own sort of way. This is an unprecedented time. Nobody knows what's going on. Everyone's trying to work their way through it. Is our current government doing anything particularly wrong? I'm sure they're doing 1,000 things wrong. Are they doing 1,000 things right? Yes, they are as well. So I think they're doing this for the best benefit of the people and of our economy and everything else. Of course they are. And if they make mistakes on the road, well, we all make mistakes on the road. So just get over it and move on. With regards to the financial side of things, there's a lot of things that you can do. A lot of stuff that we're putting in this document is all about actually how you manage your finances. I honestly, if you've got mortgages and cars to pay and bills coming in and that type of stuff, apart from the obvious things like maybe your heating and your electricity, I don't think anyone else is going to cut you off particularly. And they're the things that actually you want to keep anyway. Other than that, get cut off if you have to. It's not a big deal because you've got your phone. And you've got Zoom, so I can listen to you, obviously. From that point of view. So no, I think people just need to be sensible right now. There's lots of initiatives that are happening. I've just been sent one about an hour ago or so from a big group of thought leaders and business leaders who have got this whole access to a whole load of government backed funding that people can access now. And all that. There's lots of things that you can do. The first thing I say to most people is if you've got if you're a small business and you've got direct debits, just stop all your direct debits right now and wait till the third red letter comes through in 6 months' time. And if they send bailiffs around, I'm not sure how they're going to get in your front door because they can't get in. Because you're not anyway. So I'm being facetious, but it's just just cut back and hold back and just focus on the core and keeping your business running. And keeping your house running and everything else. But, we always come out of these things in some format. And, I just think if we're sensible, we can cut back. And there's lots of initiatives, lots of things that you can do to support that and manage that. And I think, we'll get through it from that point of view. And again, I'll put some ideas down for this. But, I think, is anyone getting this right? No one's getting this right. And someone will come out the other end and go, I told you so. Congratulations. You must feel very pleased with yourself. But as long as the told you so is the person making the decisions and the person who's going to save loads of lives and help us get back together again, then I honestly don't give a damn. I just want to make sure that the bits I can control, the bits I can influence in a positive way, that's what we're going to do.
Wicked. Well, look, James, I know you guys are offering some pretty impressive stuff at the TRN. You're giving away memberships at the minute. Is that for new people or is it just existing?
No, that's for everybody. I mean, basically we're saying that we have a global inclusive community of recruitment leaders. Our job is to support our members. If this is a time when we disappear because people can't afford to pay, then to me that's really sort of crass and doesn't really represent the values and the purpose of why we built the thing in the first place.
Right. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you and find out how you can help, just tell them to drop you a note on LinkedIn.
Drop a link on LinkedIn, or the best thing to do is just go straight up, sign up to trnworld.com. It's free, no credit card details, just get on there, help yourself, and there's loads and loads of stuff up there. We're putting all this content up there anyway, that sort of stuff, and we've got daily updates on there as well. So that'll be a good starting point. Just get on there straight away.
Wicked. All right. Well, look, James, you're a busy man. Thanks so much for taking the time out for all the people listening to this show. And I do hope. I hope that people take you up on it because I know personally what you're like and what it's all about. This isn't a gimmick. This is seriously, you offer so much value. So I hope people do take you up on getting in touch and making the most of it. And look, let's keep the communication out there. It might be that we get you back on again in a few weeks, see what's actually happened in your client base. You're across the industry. There's not many better connected people that can give us a real view on what's going on. So thanks so much. No,
I really appreciate it. And just the final thing to say is, as an industry, we will get through this. We always do, and we'll come out the other side. So let's just club together, collaborate, and be positive.
That's it. Awesome. Well, look, that's another episode of the RAG Report finished. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot of value from it. As James said, get in touch with him directly on LinkedIn or drop me a note if you want me to put you directly in touch with him as well. Or get to trnworld.com. .com or .co.uk? .com. Get on there. I'll be back again tomorrow with another guest talking about how ideas and experiences of how to get through this turbulent time. If you're enjoying the show, please do get on LinkedIn, share this with your peers, with your colleagues, with your your friends, whatever. The more people listen, the more we're gonna grow and support each other as an industry. I'll be back again tomorrow with another episode. Speak to you then.